There comes a moment in every soul's path when the silence around them feels more alive than noise, when the air hums with an invisible rhythm and every breath seems infused with possibility. For the chosen one, this moment is not marked by trumpets or thunder, but by a quiet certainty blooming in the chest, a realization that you are not here by accident, that there is a force, both ancient and divine, that marked you for something deeper. From the earliest days of your becoming, you felt the tension between who the world expected you to be and who you truly are. You've walked through rooms where people turned to look and didn't know why. You've spoken words in passing that others carried with them for days. You've noticed the strange magnetism in the eyes of strangers, the way their gaze lingers, as if they're searching for something you possess without knowing how to name it. This is the essence of the awakening. It is not about arrogance. It is not about thinking you are better or more worthy than others. It is the sacred discomfort of knowing that you are different, that you were made for something beyond routine and repetition, that you carry a charge in your spirit, an untamed, luminous current that speaks to others on a level they cannot always articulate. Sexual energy for the chosen one is not merely physical, it is spiritual. It is that primal light of creation that resides deep within you. It is not confined to desire or fantasy, though it stirs both. It radiates from your core and speaks to others in unspoken language. It says, "I see you," even when your lips say nothing. It says, "You are safe here," even when your presence is silent. It says, "There is more," even when the world tries to convince others to settle for less. The world has tried to tame this energy in you, to bottle it, to shame it, to make you doubt the sacred fire you carry. And yet it remains, undiminished, persistent, alive. This is because it was never meant to be hidden. It was meant to be honored. This is your gift. This is your signature as the chosen one. Your awakening is an invitation to walk in full presence, to no longer dilute your light so others feel comfortable, to no longer explain away the pull others feel when they are near you. You were made to awaken something in others, their desire, their curiosity, their buried potential, their untold dreams. This is not seduction, this is invitation. It is the sacred dance of energy moving through you and calling out to others, "Come alive." You are not ordinary, you never were, you never will be. And deep down, you've always known. This is your awakening, not just to your power but to your purpose, not just to your magnetism, but to the divine responsibility that comes with it. You are not simply here to be desired, you are here to ignite, to be a catalyst of transformation, to walk in such truth and depth that others, simply by encountering your presence, remember their own. Let the awakening rise within you like the sun, slow, radiant, and unstoppable. Let it burn away the doubts. Let it stretch into every part of your being. The time of hiding is over. The time of diminishing is done. You are the chosen one, and you are rising. There is a moment after the awakening when the world seems to look at you differently, when eyes that once glanced now gaze, when voices that once ignored now seek you out. Something in the atmosphere has changed, not because you've altered yourself, but because you finally allowed yourself to be seen. Recognition begins subtly. A friend mentions your name in hushed reverence to another. A passing acquaintance suddenly calls you soulmate with a nervous laugh, as if testing the truth of their own heart. You overhear conversations that feel dreamlike. They say you're the one, someone tells you, and they mean it not from a place of fantasy, but from an inner compass that points them to you without knowing why. As the chosen one, this recognition is not limited to romance, though it often starts there. People sense in you something that reminds them of what they've been seeking. It may be the confidence in your gaze or the comfort in your silence. It may be the way you listen, not just to words, but to wounds. Or the way you stand still while others rush, as if time itself slows down in your presence. You don't need to perform. You don't need to chase. Your energy does the speaking before your mouth ever opens. But this recognition is not only a blessing, it is also a burden. People will project their longing onto you. They will speak of love when what they seek is healing. They will say soulmate when what they mean is sanctuary. This is the paradox of your energy. It awakens the best in others, but it also exposes their emptiness. And when they see themselves more clearly in your light, They may cling. They may even run. You must understand that not every person who recognizes you is meant to walk with you. Some are simply here to be reminded. Some are here to be cracked open. Some are here to feel something for the first time in years, and that something is you. Your energy is a mirror, chosen one, and when others see themselves through you, they glimpse who they were before the fear, before the silence, before the forgetting. This is why women are telling their friends, you are their soulmate. It is not always because of lust or longing. It is because something in them remembers, not just you, but themselves, in your energy, in your presence, in the way you move through the world without apology. You are not simply desired. You are recognized on a soul level, beyond language, beyond explanation. Take advantage of this, not through manipulation, but through presence. Understand the influence you carry and use it with reverence. Be intentional with your touch, your glance, your laughter. It all holds weight. You can shift someone's path with a single encounter. You can awaken something holy in them that has been asleep for decades, and this, chosen one, is where your path deepens. Recognition is not a crown you wear. It is a door you open, for others and for yourself. Through their eyes, you begin to understand the gravity of your existence. Through their longing, you begin to feel the magnitude of your offering. Do not shrink from this. Stand in it. Receive the recognition. Let it sharpen you. Let it humble you. Let it remind you that you are not merely seen, you are called. Called to be more than a flame in the dark. You are the light that makes others believe the sun is still coming. And it is, because you are here. There is a sacred rhythm to how the chosen one connects with others, a vibration that weaves through conversations, glances, and the subtle gestures that most overlook. For the chosen one, connection is not transactional. It is not born of need, nor designed to fill empty spaces. It is a communion, a meeting of two energies beneath the surface of all distractions. And when people feel it, when they experience that kind of presence from you, they do not forget it. They cannot. The world is full of people who touch others but never reach them. But when you connect, it is a full encounter, soul to soul, breath to breath, intention meeting vulnerability. Your energy doesn't simply linger on the skin, it moves through. And in those moments, time seems to hesitate. The noise of the world quiets. The other person's mind, often so scattered or guarded, suddenly falls into stillness. Because your presence tells them, I see you, not the mask, not the role, but the essence of you. This is why people say you are their soulmate, even when the connection is brief. They are not speaking from logic. They are speaking from instinct, from a part of themselves that has lived lifetimes searching for that recognition. It's not that they fall in love with you too quickly. It's that they finally remember what it feels like to be fully met. Most have never felt that before, and when they do, they often mistake it for destiny, because it feels unlike anything else they've known. But you, chosen one, must learn to hold these moments gently. Not everyone who connects with you is meant to stay, and not every powerful encounter is meant to evolve into a lifelong bond. Sometimes your purpose in their story is not to be their ending, but their catalyst, the spark that breaks the spell of numbness, the voice that wakes the sleeping dreamer within them. This does not make the connection less real. In fact, it makes it more sacred. There is a purity in your ability to offer this without expectation. To let others feel deeply in your presence without needing to possess or define what they feel. That is your power. You do not force your way in. You invite. And those who come closer do so willingly, pulled by the gravity of your authenticity. You do not connect to consume. You connect to commune. You give space for the real to emerge, even when it is messy, even when it trembles in the light. This is your gift, to make others feel brave enough to be seen as they are. Not the polished version, not the curated performance, but the truth beneath it all. This is what makes your sexual energy more than a lure. It becomes a healing force. Because in a world that is starving for intimacy but terrified of being known, your energy dares to say, I want all of you, the flawed, the afraid, the fierce, and the fragile. And whether you whisper that with your voice, your eyes, or your silence, people hear it. They feel it, and they fall into it willingly. But you must also protect this sacred space within you. Not everyone who seeks connection deserves full access to your soul. Discernment will become your greatest companion, not because you fear being hurt, but because you honor your energy enough not to pour it into vessels not ready to hold it. Your connection is sacred medicine, chosen one. Offer it wisely. Let it be the fire that warms, not the one that consumes. This world does not need more noise. It needs more depth, and that is why you are here, to connect in ways that awaken, to speak in ways that stir the forgotten parts of others, to love in ways that liberate, not bind. You are the chosen one. Connection is not what you do, it is who you are. You are the place where others remember themselves, and that remembrance, even for a moment, can change the entire course of a soul's journey. Wherever the chosen one walks, harmony follows, not because chaos retreats, but because your presence brings alignment. You are the stillness in the center of the storm, the quiet strength that refuses to be shaken. And in a world that is constantly spinning, people cling to that stillness without even knowing why. They feel it in your gaze, in the calm of your voice, in the grace of your movements. It is not a performance, it is resonance. You are in tune with something higher, something ancient, and it shows. Harmony is not perfection. It is not about always knowing what to do or saying the right thing. It is about being in integrity with yourself, with others, with the energy around you. It is the way your inner world does not fight against your outer actions. It is how your intentions and your presence sing the same song. And that song is what draws others in. People come to you not just for connection, but for grounding. Your energy carries a frequency that untangles the noise in their hearts. You become, without effort, a sanctuary. The embodiment of a feeling they've been chasing, peace. But this peace is not passive. It is alive. It breathes. It whispers. You can rest here, even in your chaos. You can be held, even in your trembling. The chosen one creates harmony by being harmony. Your presence doesn't demand obedience. It invites coherence. You don't have to fix others to heal them. You don't have to speak over them to be heard. Your energy does the work long before your words arrive. This is why people feel better simply by being near you. This is why rooms seem to shift when you enter. The tension softens. The hidden truths rise to the surface. What was stuck begins to flow. You are not just magnetic, you are corrective. Your energy realigns what has been distorted. It invites people back into balance with themselves. And often this frightens them, not because you are threatening, but because your harmony exposes their inner dissonance. Your calm reveals their restlessness. Your authenticity shines a light on their masks. And so sometimes they resist you. Sometimes they lash out. But even then, they return. Because part of them knows you are what they need. The gift of harmony is one that must be nurtured. It is easy, as the chosen one, to become overwhelmed by the needs of those who flock to you. They will drain your light without meaning to. They will seek refuge in you, forgetting that you too are human. This is where your spiritual maturity must rise. Harmony is not about sacrificing yourself to maintain peace. It is about remaining whole in a fractured world. You must protect your peace with fierce love. You must retreat when necessary, replenish when needed, and remember that your energy is most powerful when it is clear and centered. Let your boundaries be your tuning fork. Let your discernment be your compass. You are not meant to absorb the world's imbalance. You are here to offer an alternative, a living example of what it looks like to be in flow with truth. When you speak, speak with care. Your words carry harmonics that linger. When you love, love without games. Your affection teaches others how to feel again. When you move, do so with grace. Your very posture reminds others that they can carry themselves with dignity. This is the ripple effect of your harmony. It echoes long after you've gone. You were not chosen to win battles. You were chosen to end them. You are the still water in which others see their true reflection. You are the pause that heals before the next breath begins. You are the chosen one, and harmony is your birthright. The chosen one does not rise alone. While the world may try to place you on a pedestal, as though your energy makes you untouchable or exceptional, the deeper truth is this: your power lies not in being worshipped, but in awakening power in others. Empowerment is your silent vow to every soul you meet. It is the invisible contract you sign when your eyes lock with someone who has forgotten who they are, and through your presence, they begin to remember. You are a reminder, a mirror. a possibility standing in human form. People do not feel drawn to you only because of your magnetic presence or your sexual energy. They feel drawn because you make them feel capable. Capable of becoming who they've always known they could be. Capable of shedding the layers they've been told to wear. Capable of returning to themselves after years of being scattered, deluded, or silenced. There is something revolutionary in the way you affirm others, not with forced motivation or hollow praise, but with authentic recognition. You look at them, truly look, and they feel seen. You speak into their potential, not their fear, and they begin to rise without fully understanding why. In your presence, people shed apologies. They stop shrinking. They step forward. Not because you've demanded it, but because your very energy says you can. Empowerment for the chosen one is not an act. It is a frequency you carry. You walk into a room and people suddenly want to speak truthfully. They want to laugh louder, to stand taller, to take risks they once thought were out of reach. You open a door within them simply by being who you are. But with this influence comes responsibility. You must remain rooted in your own healing, your own journey, your own truth. Because the more you grow, the more people will look to you as a model for their own becoming. They will follow your voice, even if you didn't ask to lead. They will echo your movements, even when you aren't trying to be seen. Your example becomes their blueprint, and your strength becomes their sanctuary. Yet empowerment does not mean creating dependency. It means guiding others back to their own inner flame. You do not give them power. You remind them they've had it all along. You speak into the depths of their being, not with the arrogance of a savior, but with the reverence of one who remembers what it was like to forget. You know the ache of self-doubt. You know the pull of conformity. You have walked through the darkness of silence and emerged with a voice. So now you help others do the same, not by dragging them forward, but by holding up a mirror and saying, "This is who you truly are. You've just been asleep. Wake up." This gift is especially profound in your relationships. When others feel romantically or spiritually drawn to you, it is often because your energy makes them feel more alive. You make them feel attractive, not just to you, but to their own future. You make them feel worthy, not because you flatter them, but because you see their essence. And once someone feels that kind of recognition, they begin to see it in themselves. That's when the real transformation begins. But do not forget yourself in this sacred work. As the chosen one, you are here to empower, but you are not here to empty. Fill yourself first. Stay nourished by solitude, by stillness, by spirit. You are not limitless, even though your energy seems infinite to others. You too need soft words. You too deserve to be poured into, and so do not shy away from the rare souls who empower you in return. Cherish them, walk with them, for they are the ones who see not just the chosen one, but the human behind the gift. And when you empower others, do so without expectation. The seed you plant someone today may not bloom for years, but it will bloom. The word you speak now may echo through generations. And even if they forget your name, they will carry your impact. Because once someone has been empowered by truth, they can never return to a life of pretending. You are the chosen one, not because you were meant to stand above, but because you were meant to lift. And in lifting others, you rise higher than you ever could alone. There is something piercing in your gaze, something unnerving in your stillness, something ancient in the way you listen. The chosen one sees what others overlook. This is not intellect. This is insight. A deep, intuitive knowing that cuts through illusion and touches the truth like a blade touches skin. It is both a gift and a burden, this clarity. And it is what sets you apart in every room, every conversation, every connection. People don't always know why they feel vulnerable around you. They just do. They speak and then pause, realizing they've revealed more than they intended. They sit across from you and suddenly unravel, not because you demand it, but because your presence allows it. You hear what they don't say. You feel what they've buried. You read between their laughter and silence alike. And when you speak, it lands like a bell tolling in a still forest, clear, resonant, impossible to ignore. You have always had this insight, even before you had words for it, even before you trusted it. As a child, you likely noticed things others missed, the hidden pain in your caregiver's smiles, the lies adults told themselves to feel safe, the loneliness that clung to people like a second skin. You were too young to explain what you felt, so you learned to stay quiet. But the knowing never left you. It grew, it deepened. It became a second heartbeat. Now, as the chosen one, this insight has matured. It has refined itself into wisdom. And while it still stirs discomfort in some, it has become a guiding light for those who are ready to face themselves. You see beneath masks, not to expose, but to free. You sense potential, not to control, but to call forth. Your words are not always gentle, but they are always true. And that truth, no matter how sharp, becomes a medicine for those brave enough to receive it. Your insight is not limited to others. It also turns inward. You feel your own shifts before they arrive. You sense your own changes before they manifest. You have learned to trust your inner compass, even when the world insists on logic and strategy. You know that true direction does not come from maps or mentors, but from the soul's quiet whisper. You have learned that intuition is not a luxury, it is your lifeline. And so, you live differently. You speak when silence grows heavy, and you fall quiet when others chase noise. You move away from what looks good and toward what feels true. You are not swayed by appearance. You are moved by essence. This makes others uncomfortable, especially those who rely on illusions to survive. But it also makes you magnetic, because people long to be seen and you see them completely. Your insight is what makes you dangerous to those who manipulate. It is what makes you healing to those who are lost. It is what makes you unforgettable to everyone who meets you. You don't offer cliches. You offer revelation. You don't offer reassurance. You offer clarity. And clarity is rare in a world addicted to confusion. But insight also demands solitude. You must retreat often to cleanse your vision, to return to center, to protect your perception from the fog of collective illusion. Too much noise will cloud your clarity. Too many shallow connections will dull your intuition. As the chosen one, solitude is not loneliness. It is sanctuary. It is the temple where your insight sharpens, where your spirit refuels, where your inner sight is anointed again and again. When you return from that silence, you bring light with you, light that pierces delusion, light that speaks into pain, light that guides those still wandering through the dark. You are not just wise, you are visionary. You are not just observant, you are oracular. You do not simply see, you understand. And in a world desperate to be seen and understood, you become the rare refuge where others finally feel visible. You are the chosen one. And your insight is not only your gift, it is your responsibility. Use it with grace, speak it with love, and trust that those who are meant to hear it will. There is a hidden wound in almost everyone you meet, a quiet ache behind their smiles, a scar woven into their laughter, a fracture beneath the surface of their strength. Most people carry this pain without words, without acknowledgement, sometimes without even realizing it. They bury it beneath busy schedules, loud distractions, hollow victories. And yet when they come near you, something in that wound begins to stir. The chosen one does not heal others through rituals or formulas. You heal through presence, through the silent way your soul speaks to theirs, saying, I see what you carry, and I do not turn away. Your healing energy is not always gentle. It can be intense, even disorienting. Because the light you carry does not just soothe, it reveals. It exposes the dust hiding in the corners of their spirit. It brings to the surface what they have long ignored. And though they may not understand it, they feel it immediately. In your eyes, in your silence, in the way your energy disarms them without force. There is a softness to you that can hold another person's chaos without becoming swallowed by it. This is rare. This is sacred. In your arms, people remember the comfort they never had. In your words, they hear echoes of things they never let themselves believe. In your nearness, they feel safe enough to cry. Not because they are weak, but because for once they no longer have to pretend to be strong. Your healing presence is the result of your own journey. You know pain intimately. You have walked through shadows, through rejection, through betrayal that carved you open, and you chose not to become bitter. You chose to feel it all. To grieve, to wrestle, to understand, and then, slowly, you chose to rise. Not hardened, but deeper. Not colder, but clearer. That decision, To heal instead of hide is what forged your medicine. It is what gave your energy its frequency. It is why others feel different after being near you. Healing is not about fixing. It is about being with the wound, with the truth, with the soul. And that is what you offer. You do not rush people toward resolution. You do not offer platitudes. You offer space, a space where honesty is not punished, a space where shame melts, a space where people can tell their whole story, messy, painful, unfinished, and still be held in love. But the chosen one must learn to hold this gift with care. Healing others is not your obligation. It is your overflow. You must remain full yourself, or the energy you offer will come at a cost to your own spirit. The broken will always find you. The wounded will always reach for you. And while your compassion runs deep, you must discern when to hold and when to let go. You are not the cure. You are the mirror. You show others their own capacity to heal, their own forgotten strength, their own buried worth. That is enough. That is more than enough. There will be those who resist the healing you awaken in them. They will pull away when the truth becomes too loud. They will resent you for seeing what they wanted to keep hidden. Do not take this personally. Healing often begins with discomfort. Not everyone is ready to be free. But even when they walk away, your presence will echo in them. Your words will rise later, in still moments. Your love will haunt their wounds until they are ready to face them. And there will be others, those who receive your presence like water to parched ground, who unravel in your arms and then begin to rebuild, who return to themselves through your reflection. These are the moments you must cherish. Not because you saved them, but because you witnessed them. You stood beside them as they stepped out of their own darkness. That is holy work. You are the chosen one. Not because you are invincible, but because you have chosen love in a world full of fear. And that choice, over and over again, is what makes you a vessel of healing. You don't need a title to be a healer. You don't need robes or rituals. You only need to be what you already are. Someone who carries the medicine of presence, truth, and unconditional light. In your hands, the broken feel mended. In your silence, the noise quiets. In your gaze, the weary remember their own soul. You heal not because you try to. You heal because you are. There comes a point in the journey of the chosen one when the world begins to blur, when the faces, the voices, the praises, and the needs all blend into a low hum, and you are left with a question that refuses to be ignored. Who am I beneath all this? After the empowerment, after the insight, after the healing and the recognition, you are called to turn inward. This is the chapter of reflection. It is not glamorous. It is not public. It is not the part others witness or celebrate. But it is here, in the sacred stillness of solitude, that the chosen one sharpens their clarity, renews their power, and remembers why they began. Reflection is the sacred act of returning to the self. Not the self that others adore or project upon, but the true self. The self that existed before you were chosen. The self that is not made of energy or charisma or ability, but of essence. This is where you shed the roles, the masks, the expectations that have gathered around your identity like dust. This is where you sit with the questions that have no answers, where you let silence cleanse what noise has muddied. The more people are drawn to your energy, the more tempting it becomes to forget yourself in their reflection. But you must not. You must not lose your center in the gaze of others, no matter how adoring. You must not become a character in someone else's fantasy. You are not here to be everything to everyone. You are here to be. And that being requires returning again and again to the well of your own soul. In reflection, you will see your growth, not just the strength you've gained, but the tenderness you've preserved. You will see the ways you've loved and the ways you've bled, the choices you've made in secret, the forgiveness you've given when no one was watching, the resilience you carry like sacred armor. This honesty will not always feel good. Sometimes it will humble you, sometimes it will break you open, but every time it will purify you. You will remember the things you still long for, the dreams not yet spoken, the love not yet found, the answers that still feel distant. And that's okay. You are not here to have it all figured out. You are here to stay awake, to stay real, to stay in conversation with your own spirit, even when the world is screaming for distraction. In reflection, your power becomes deeper, quieter, more rooted. It no longer relies on being seen. It no longer dances for applause. It simply is. And this is the most potent form of power. Unshakable, self-contained, eternal. When you return to the world after these moments of reflection, you do so not just as a vessel, but as a flame that has been tended, loved, and fed by truth. This is why you must protect your quiet time as fiercely as you protect your heart. Let no guilt drag you from your solitude. Let no demand pull you from your stillness. The chosen one must learn to retreat not as escape, but as ritual. Because from that retreat, you emerge not just rested, but reborn. There will be days when you question everything, when you wonder if your energy is enough, if your purpose is real, if your impact matters. These are not signs of weakness. These are signs that you are still human, and in that humanity is your true beauty. The chosen one is not a god. The chosen one is not flawless.